Welcome back to the Double Leg. I'm one half of the show. Hey, Jai Picks, the other half of the show, the Parlay. Joining me in to give you the best bets for UFC Vegas 86. Let's get into it. All right, less than 48 hours till the fight start. We have narrowed down our bets. We're going to give you the best bets for UFC Vegas 86. If you missed it, we broke down the entire card, all 14 fights, earlier in the week. I will drop the link to that video in the description below. These bets we're going to give you, they're all a part of our Double Leg Premium. The link is in the description to join that. Get you every single UFC card every week. And these are just a few that we picked out of there. We're going to go through, give you our best betting favorite, whether that's a minus number. So that's a betting favorite. It's a minus number. We'll give you the best betting underdog and a little prop bet you could sprinkle on. And hopefully you can cash in big because we got some big plus money at the end of the show. So stay tuned for that. But any last thoughts before we jump into this? I guess we can jump over this little change of a fight. I mean, Timothy Kwamba is taking on Balaji. We both picked Balaji to beat Damir Hadzovic. I'm going to stay with that pick. I know it's probably not one anyone's super interested in, but if you are tuning in the show later in the week, I'm sticking with Balaji to beat Timothy Kwamba. Who you got on that one?
Yeah, I think he beats him too. I think Balaji has a tough style for Timothy Kwamba. I think if Kwamba had like some great grappling and showed it on the Contender Series, that's his game, like I'd give him a better chance. But if you're going to stand and try to strike with Balaji for 3 rounds, like he's probably going to find the chin at some point. He's probably going to find it hard. And Timothy Kwamba, even in his Contender Series decision win over Mateu Vogel, got outstruck 67-43. He got taken down once. I just don't see a lot out of him that makes me think he's going to come in there and beat Balaji. I think they're just two different levels of striking here.
Yeah, super short notice, moving up a weight class. Timothy Kwamba just fought February 2nd, which is 6 days ago. So it's a tough task, and I'm going to stick with Balaji. Let's get into the best bets. And we could start it out with my best betting favorite of the week. I'm not taking a side. I'm going with the under 2.5 rounds in the main event, minus 155. And to be honest, these middleweight overs have been printing some decent money. If you think of last week, Nasruddin Imavov, same line, 2.5, goes over to the full decision, 297 middleweight main event, 2.5 goes over to a decision there. Just don't see that happen in this one. I think at minus 155, this is a solid price. Joe Pyfer, only seen the third round once in his entire career. He's got the big knockout power. He's got submission abilities. And we don't know exactly what his gas tank looks like. Jack Hermansson on the other side, he's been to a few decisions, but those are against guys that are super durable, like a Chris Curtis, a Sean Strickland, a Marvin Vettori. And then you look deeper into it. You zoom out a little bit. Before that, he's getting guys out of their first round. He's been finished in the second round, been finished in the first round, been finished in the second round. So I think this fight is violence early. I think Joe Pyfer probably finds the finish early. And if you're looking at Joe Pyfer on the money line, which is like minus 260, somewhere around there, I think he's more often than not going to get the finish in the first 3 rounds. So at minus 155, it kind of seems like it could be a Pyfer money line type thing. And then you get the upside if Pyfer does get finished in the first few rounds, then you still hit the bet that way. So I like this play a lot, minus 155, under 2.5 rounds. You with me or no?
Yeah, no, it's a play I've been eyeing as well, just because, I mean, I like to watch or at least see who Hermansson's opponents are that gave him the most troubles. And it's these big guys that hit hard who, pressure him. And I watched the Thiago Santos fight. Very first round, he just starts backing him up with those big shots, and all of a sudden, it's like Hermansson just crumbled. Like he took 2 in a row, and he was out. First round KO for Thiago Santos against Jared Cannonier, another guy who hits really hard. That fight didn't last very long, 27 seconds into the second round. I just feel like Pyfer kind of fits the description of guys that are going to be able to march forward, hit Hermansson, give him troubles, hurt him on the feet. And, I think it happens earlier than late in this fight. The first couple of rounds, Pyfer is extremely dangerous. So, and if Pyfer does want to, if he slips up, makes a mistake, goes for a takedown, I could see Hermansson finding some kind of weird submission too. So, yeah, under 2.5, I think is a very live bet. It's going to be violence from the get go. So, yeah, I like it.
All right, we'll move on to your best betting favorite of the week, Dan Ige money line, -175. Tell me about it.
I love Dan Ige. I think Dan Ige really only struggles against the Bryce Mitchells, guys with really good wrestling. Movsar Evloev, I mean, those are his last 2 losses. Josh Emmett, didn't really use the wrestling, but Josh Emmett is a stud on the feet. I think we all know that. And then Korean Zombie. So he's not losing, or he's losing to some of the best guys in the division. I mean, Bryce Mitchell just fought Ilya Taporia, and then Josh Emmett. Josh Emmett just fought for a belt not long ago and fought Taporia, Yair Rodriguez, and then Movsar Evloev, who's now 18-0, never been beaten, just be the top contender in Allen. Those are the guys he's losing to. He's beaten Damon Jackson, Nate Landwehr, and honestly, I kind of put Fely more in the Landwehr Jackson category than I would the Josh Emmett Movsar category, if I'm being honest. Fely gets hit. We saw Nathaniel Wood drop him and really lay the volume on him, especially as the fight went on. Joe Anderson Britu knocked him out in the first round. Bryce Mitchell beat Fely with the wrestling, obviously. I think this fight plays out on the feet. And everything I'm seeing in the tape, everything I'm seeing in the stats tells me Dan Ige is going to be more efficient with his striking. Fely does have the wrestling in his back pocket, but he usually uses it defensively. He's not going out there trying to, implement that game plan to win fights. So, yeah, and I think Ige's takedown defense is good enough against a guy like Fely. So, I think the fight plays out on the feet. I think Ige is going to land the bigger shots. I think the line's not -250 here because of Fely's last performance against the Lucas Almeida, who doesn't have the most experience. And overall, I could even see Dan Ige finishing this fight on the feet at some point. The guy hits like a truck. We've seen him knock some guys out cold, and I wouldn't be surprised if it happens here.
Yeah, I like it too. Obviously, the durability on Dan Ige is second to none, never been finished. So, he's going to be able to go in there and give you a good 3 rounds. Could get him out of there early. Ige could do that to Fely. Does have very sharp hands and does get taken down, but Fely's not really shown to be a guy that's going to go in there and take you down and hold you down to win rounds. So I think it's a solid play on Dan Ige. I'm with you. We'll move on to my betting underdog of the week. Going with Max Griffin moneyline +140. This one starting to move in the other direction. So I would hop on Max Griffin as soon as you can. But I just look at this fight like Jeremiah Wells, older. Max Griffin is older, but Max Griffin has a lot more experience, and the durability for him has been a shining spot in this moment because we know Jeremiah Wells can hit like a truck, but he's also just super low volume. Like the way that he fights, stands at range, like not even the range where you could land a kick. Like you couldn't even take a step forward, try to land a kick. He stands so far away from you, just tries to blitz in. If he doesn't swing and hit you, he's going to go for a takedown. The takedowns will be the biggest weapon for Jeremiah Wells in this spot. But on the feet, I think Max Griffin does have the ability to put him out. We saw Jeremiah Wells get cracked by Semmelsberger twice. And Max Griffin, solid power and very good timing with his shots as well. He's fighting guys like Michael Morales. Close fight in a loss to Neil Magny. And then you just look at Jeremiah Wells. Every single guy that he's beat in the UFC doesn't have a win after they fought him. Like they had Worley Alves is 0-2, Blood Diamond, I think 0-2, Court McGee 0-1, Semmelsberger 0-2, and Carlson Harris hasn't fought since. So he's getting good matchups. Like Jeremiah Wells is getting good matchups that are favorable to him. Max Griffin, been a guy that will take nearly any fight that's given to him, and he'll go out there and do his best. I think at plus money, this is a spot for him that he could shine and get a win. So I'll take him. You with me?
I like it. Yeah. I mean, Jeremiah Wells has looked good early in fights. He's very chaotic though. And I think as the level of the competition get better, I think that chaos is going to work against him. He's going to get clipped more rushing in like that. We even saw it against Semmelsberger. He got dropped twice in that fight. Fight could have been stopped. wins by split decision, and that just hasn't aged well to me, and then gets a loss after that. So yeah, no reason that he should be a favorite here like this.
Yeah, on the full card breakdown show, I think I mentioned it was second round when Jeremiah Wells got clipped against Semmelsberger and he was out. It was actually the first round. Went back and watched it. He was out. He was
yeah, bro.
out. Like arms were limp, and then he gets hit in the face again, gets woken up and battled back. I mean, Jeremiah Wells got heart, no doubt about it. But I think Max Griffin at this price is definitely worth a play. Your best betting underdog, Marcin Pragone, money line plus 190. Tell me about it.
Yeah, I think people are going to be a little surprised. And here's my biggest thing on this fight. I don't know about you, but at minus 250, I wouldn't take Devin Clark against anybody. I don't think he deserves to be minus 250 against anybody. He hasn't really shown me that at all. He does have decent wrestling for sure. He'll swing hard and he hits hard at times, but I mean, dude, he's losing to a lot of guys in the UFC level. His takedown average is 2.35 at 33%. I know Pragneo's takedown defense isn't the best, but I also don't think that Devin Clark's on the same level as like a Vitor Petrino as far as the strength and ability to drag guys down. I see Pragneo beating guys like Khalil Roundtree just a couple of years ago in a 3-round decision and outstriking him 100 to like 43. And that's pretty crazy thinking about how like the trajectory and the fights that Khalil Roundtree's had lately. Pragneo's no slouch on the feet. He hits hard. He looks a little sloppy at times, but he's always fighting you till the end of the fight in 3 rounds. I don't think if this fight hits over 1.5 rounds, I don't think Devin Clark's going to have enough in the tank to land the takedowns at that point. And if he's standing there at range with Pragneo, I think Pragneo lights him up with some head kicks. I mean, Pragneo has some pretty damn good kicks if you watch him. And they're very powerful. Even if they're landing on the hands and when Devin Clark's blocking them, they're going to do damage. Pragneo goes to the body really well. You mix that in with a bunch of takedown attempts for Clark. I think this fight should be more of a pick 'em in this situation. So at plus 190, I'm all over Pragneo here. I think he wins.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the line is just way too wide for this fight. Like Devin Clark's a guy, as an underdog, you like to take a shot on him because if he does implement his game plan, he can look pretty good. But as a big betting favorite, it's like if his game plan gets stuffed in any way to where he can't land takedowns and push up against the cage and use his strength, like he's gonna look pretty bad. Like if he's forced to stand and strike with Marcin Pragone for 2.5, 3 minutes for every round, like he's not gonna look good because Pragone is not a world beater on the feet, but he's had countless competitions in karate and kickboxing. Like he's a guy that can put up a ton of volume, and he's not going to do it in a way where he's going to hurt you a lot, but he's going to touch you and he's going to make you make mistakes. Like he can land the good kicks from the outside, and with Devin Clark being 6 foot on the feet, I think he just stays at range and chips away at him, and he's just got to stay off the cage, and I think he's got a good shot to pull off a W. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think Pragneo honestly comes out in this fight and lands 2 to 3 big leg kicks that alter the whole entire outlook of the fight, in my opinion. And that's what he's got to do. And I mean, man, I don't know. This price is just crazy to me. Pragneo lands nearly 5.4 significant strikes per minute. Devin Clark's under 3 per minute. And, Pragneo doesn't get hit all that much either, where Devin Clark's got a pretty bad striking defense. So stays on the feet. This is Pragneo all day for me.
Yeah, and this line at the beginning of the week was like plus 155. And I'm like, I'm going to keep an eye on that because even then it seemed like a little wide. Devin Clark was like minus 210. And then now it just continues to grow. So, maybe on Saturday you get him at like plus 220, something like that. But yeah, I mean, this is still a very solid line. I mean, you're getting near 2-1 on a guy that's definitely going to be the better striker in this matchup. So I like it. And my favorite prop bet of the week. So we're going round 2 or 3. Zach Pauga. What does this man do? He likes to wear you out. He likes to throw you on the cage, wear you out, use his strength, use his cardio, and maybe his wrestling. And I watched an interview with him, and he said he wanted to, I'm paraphrasing, but take him into deeper waters and show that he's an all-around fighter, get a submission win. Now, I'm not a guy that puts a lot of confidence into what fighters say, But I do think with that game plan in mind, he could find a late finish in round 2 or 3, whether it's TKO or sub. So that's why I'm not taking one or the other. But I think it's very live. Like Bogdan Guskov can crusher on the regional scene. Like you watch his tape, it is the bottom of the barrel out there. Like these guys don't have anything. And the one loss he had recently on the regional scene, which was to a guy named Vyacheslav Vasilevsky, who has a really solid record, 36-9 right now. But before he fought Bogdan Guskov, he was a 170 pounder. And then he takes a fight against Bogdan Guskov at 205 and still beats him. So I just can't really put too much in confidence into this guy, Bogdan Guskov. Now, I know Zach Pauga is not a world beater, but if he does make it to round 2, doesn't get sparked in round 1, round 2 or round 3 finish is going to be definitely live because Guskov, I don't think has a very good cardio. He's been relying on knocking out cans in the first round on the regional scene, comes to the UFC, takes on Volkan, who's a very solid opponent, but it was just one-way traffic for Volkan. He gets a big step down here in Zach Pauga, but I don't think it's going to be much different. I think Pauga probably throws him up against the cage, grinds on him, wears him out, finds a round 2 or 3 finish. Plus 600 for round 2 is solid. Plus 800 for round 3 is solid as well. Now, these are lines that are from an offshore book, and more times than not later in the week, the books that are available to the U.S., like a FanDuel, DraftKings, Hard Rock Bet, they might be even juicier. So I would keep an eye on that if you're in the States and you have access to those accounts or those books, because they're probably going to be a little bit juicier. And round 2 or 3, it's looking pretty good to me. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I've seen a lot of people on Bogdan Guskov this week. And, after his first performance against Volkan, I would have to see more before I even thought about laying money on him. I mean, people just taking him as a dog here is crazy to me. I get that Pauga, is 1-2 in the UFC, but I look at it like this. He fought Muhammad Usman, was piecing him up from the outside until he got clipped with one shot. The strikes were lopsided in that fight heading into round 2. He could have easily, if he doesn't get knocked out there, he easily wins this fight by decision. He goes out and he beats Jordan Wright. He needed to win that fight. He did whatever he could to do it, and he got it done. I thought he beat Modestas Bukauskas. A lot of people did too. A lot of people thought that was a robbery. He outstruck him. He took him down. So whatever. So, right there, without the knockout to Usman, this guy's could be 3-0 in the UFC. He's not like he's, outside of the Usman fight, held his own with Modestas Bukauskas, and now he's going to go in here against a guy who is a can crusher and lost his first fight against Volkan Oezdemir. I don't know why people are so confident in him. It's not like he's a massive favorite or a massive underdog here either. Yeah. So I don't see it at all. And Guskov's a guy you can tell burns a little hot in the first round. He's a big boy, holds a lot of muscle, and if you can just get him to that second round, he's probably going to fade. And those are the types of fighters that Zach is going to finish late in fights, because Zach does have some decent cardio. He's a good athlete. He's going to be there all 3 rounds. I like it a lot, actually. I'm not a believer in Guskov whatsoever. I hated what I saw out of him in his first fight. I was on Volkan's money line and his knockout prop. So when he subbed him, I was just like, my God. But if Zach gets him to the ground later in the fight, I could see Zach snatching the neck too. Like, he's just an athlete. He's going to know what to do in that situation. And obviously, Guskov, if you're getting submitted by Volkan Oezdemir, I think Zach Pauga could do it too.
Yeah, and that Jordan Wright fight that he won, very underwhelming performance. But as a bettor, you don't want to go in there. You don't want to go in there and lay hands with Jordan Wright. Do exactly what he did, and you should be able to get a win. So I like it. Your favorite prop of the week? You're going round 2 or 3 KO with Robert Dryzik plus 750 round 2, plus 18 hundo round 3. Tell me about it.
Yeah. So, oh man, I've seen some people on Potiera here too. And if this was at 205, I would definitely not be probably playing this right here. But if the fight does get, if it does end up being at 185, I know people have talked about this could be a possible catch weight because of the short notice. And, Potiera's cutting a lot of weight to get down to 185. So I think it's going to take a toll on his chin. We've seen him knocked out in his last 2 fights, and then his loss before that against Nicolau, he lost that by knockout too in the second round. His last fight he lost to Bellato in the second round. I just think, man, he's tough in that first round. He'll throw hands and kind of keep guys off of him. But once he starts to, fade a little bit, these guys sniff it out like that, and they're all over him. And it only takes a couple of shots to put him down from there. I watched Drysick, and he's got a ton of power. First of all, he's a big dude. You can see it in the picture there. The guy's shredded. He hits hard, but not only does he hit hard, like some of the fights, I'm like, man, this guy's kind of slowing down. Third round, and I look up and he's throwing like a 4-punch combination that's just as hard as it was in the first round. So I think this guy's got the speed throughout the 3 rounds he's going to be fighting. I think the power is going to translate middle to late in the fight. And if Potier just please survive the first round for me, I think we're going to get this thing to cash.
Yeah, this is one where I have to see the weigh-ins tomorrow before I make any bets, because I need to know what weight this is going to be at and what they look like. But if it is at 185, I do like this because you just need Potier to survive a round. In the same way, you need Drysick to survive a round the same. Yeah. Because I think the under is super steamed. To the under 1.5 is super steamed. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, if you get it to round 2 or 3, these are definitely live because we've seen Potier fade as the fight goes on.
He folds,
and fold. I mean, once he gets tired, he gets touched up a little bit, he's out. And Drysick does have a few fights that have been to a decision, 8 to be exact. And if you do watch his fights, like you said, later in the rounds, he's still got some good power, and the striking is sharp. Like, he's not a guy that's gonna be shooting weird hooks where you're gassing yourself out. So I do kind of like it there. And those are the best bets for UFC Vegas 86. Hopefully you enjoyed. Let me know if you're tailing down in the comments. And once again, if you want all the bets for this week and the full month, the Double Leg Premium link is in the description. Get you every single UFC card, $39.99 a month. Go get signed up now. And any last thoughts before we head out of here?
Yeah, just thinking. So if my Drysick round 2 bet hits, I'll give somebody on this stream that likes and comments $50. And if the round 3 hits, I'll give somebody 100 of it. So let's go. Like it up. Like the video, comment, and that's all you got to do for a chance to win 50 or 100.
And of course, I got to mention the Double Leg free play will be out Saturday at the Double Leg on IG. Saturday, we'll drop the free play there. And at HI Picks on the medias for me, we'll give out some free plays as well on the DFS. Where can they find you?
All social medias at the Parlay MMA.
Appreciate you all. Good luck. Make sure you watch the weigh-ins tomorrow or today if you're watching it today. And good luck this weekend on your bets. The Double Leg signing out.